There's so many books in this box. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name's Tamika. This is a library of tomes where I talk to you about all the bookish things going on in my life. Hi, welcome back. I write under this pen name Stella Ferris. If you didn't know, how are you? By the way, that's just the new intro. We're just throwing Stella at the end of it, okay? So we'll just, I can't think of anything better. I have perfected my intro for like 2 years now and I can't change it. So today we're going to be doing an unboxing. I've already opened it here just because, truth be told, trying to hold this whole box up and then have to open it for you on camera, that's just gonna make me wanna punch something. So here's my job at holding it up. It's a book outlet order. I decided to order some books from Book Outlet because I'm probably gonna get canceled, and I hadn't bought books in bulk for myself since my birthday last year, and I had some extra cash. I had some extra money I was gonna spend at a Polycon, so I just decided to grab a couple things that I've been eyeing from a Book Outlet. So that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna be going over these and let's just jump into it. There goes all the paper. I always love doing that. That's like my favorite part of a Book Outlet haul. So here is the box. So this one I actually have already looked at, and the reason for that is because it came ripped, and you can see like literally right through that. And I have already put an order in for this to have a replacement at Book Outlet because there's no way I'm going to be able to read this without the back cover eventually coming off, because you can already see it's going to bend that. So this is 99% Mine by Sally Thorne. I hope they get back to me soon and I can get a replacement for this because I really want to read this. This is the second novel that Sally Thorne ever put out. This follows this girl and this dude, and they don't like each other, and he is helping her fix her house or her grandma's house or something like that. And there's an enemies to lovers situation there, and I'm very excited to read it. I just hope that I can get a corrected copy soon, because I did not order Scratch and Dent. I ordered a bargain copy. This is a mix of thrillers and literary fiction and contemporary and romance, of course. So next up we have the Goldfinch by Donna Tartt. And I got this because I've heard such amazing things about Donna Tartt, and I just decided I was gonna pick something up by her. I don't think this is the really popular one. I think that one is A Secret History, but I really want to try out Donna Tartt. This looks really cute. It's a very tall paperback and it is very floppy. It's huge, and you know I don't read big books, so we'll see how soon I get around to this because it is very big. So the back of this says that it's about a 13-year-old who lives in New York who survives a accident that kills his mother. He's abandoned by his father and he's taken in by a wealthy Park Avenue family. So that's all I want to know going into this. I'm very excited to give this a shot and see if I enjoy it. If you've read this, please leave a comment down below and let me know what you thought about this one. Next up we have the Flatshare. This is by Beth O'Leary. This is about two people who live in the same apartment. They share a flat and they share a bed, but he works nights and she works days, so they kind of switch off. He gets the bed in the daytime, she gets the bed at nighttime, and they only communicate through like post-it notes. So I'm very excited to read this and check this out. I know there's a lot of people who've really liked this. This is, I've heard it's more women's fiction than romance, so I'm still excited to read it. I think it's gonna be really cute. I have heard that the male characters' chapters are told in a very weird way. Like right here it just says like the person's name and then what they say, which doesn't really bother me that much. So we'll see if I enjoy it and if it like causes a stir whenever I'm trying to read it. The next up we have a thriller. This is I Know My Name by C.J. Cook. This is a thriller. I know nothing about it, obviously. I don't go into my thrillers knowing anything. This says, but what if that's the only thing you can remember? And that's her name. So apparently we have an amnesia trope. The main character doesn't know what their name is, or they know their name but they don't know anything else about themselves. I'm going to read you this little blurb here on the back, and then that's all you're going to know, because that's the way I like to go into my thrillers. It says, I've just woken up, I'm completely alone, and I don't know why I'm here. I'm excited. So next up we have a horror thriller kind of situation. This is The Cabin at the End of the World by Paul Tremblay. I've heard absolutely amazing things about this book, and I decided I had to have it for my bookshelves. I have been eyeing this forever, and I finally made the book outlet purchase and picked it up. So this one just says that a 7-year-old and her parents are vacationing at a remote island or a remote cabin at a quiet lake in northern New Hampshire. They are a handful of miles from the Canadian border and far removed from the bustle of the city life, cut off from the urgent hums of cell phones and the internet. And then apparently things are gonna go awry. I can't wait to read this. It sounds like it's going to be a very interesting and fun and spooky situation, and I might be a little thrilled. I don't know yet. I'm very excited to read this. I love being spooked, and I am hoping that I can kind of integrate a little bit more of spooky and scary things back into my reading, because I don't read it as much as I want to. I have to be in like a certain mood to really dive into horror and spooky, creepy things, and I've just not been in the mood for that lately, so I'm hoping I can get back into it soon. I literally know nothing about half of these. I bought these two because of the author. These are Maya Banks. These are in his keeping, and then this one is Just One Touch. Both of these are a slow burn novel, and they fall into the same series. This is this one is about a girl who was raised in a strict religious cult, and then this one is a it says Ariel knows rules keep her safe. She's been following them since she was a little girl. Do not tell, do not show. So I'm assuming these are going to be dealing with some darker subject matter and be a little more hard hitting than some of Maya Banks' other books. These are definitely going to be erotic because Maya Banks is an erotic contemporary romance author, from what I've read from her and from what I understand from the books that I've looked into from her. Regardless, I'm very excited to read both of these because I want to get more into traditionally published romances, especially traditionally published erotic romances like Maya Banks writes. So I'm very excited to read these. Next up, I have A Gentleman's Sinner by Jodi Ellen Malipas. I think I just said her name wrong, but I'll figure that out. It says his scars run deep, his love runs fierce. And this, from what I understand, is a dark romance. I understand this author writes kind of dark romances, and I think she was supposed to be at a polycon. This follows a girl who meets a guy, and like they shouldn't be together, but like they want to be together. And the last line says, and she knows that staying together could destroy them both. So I'm assuming it is like a star-crossed lovers kind of situation, and I'm very excited to read it and see what I think about it. Like I said, I'm trying to broaden the traditional romances that I have on my shelves because I recently, as we know, I started with indie romance. I'm now getting into traditionally published romances. And I do kind of prefer indie romances because they kind of like go that extra mile, but I'm trying to broaden my horizons and read more traditionally published books as well. So next up, I have a book by Helena Hunting. This is called The Good Luck Charm. I know nothing about this. I just read Pucked by Helena Hunting, so I wanted to read another book by her. I bought this specifically because I have had my eye on it for a little while on Book Outlet. This one says, again, it's a hockey romance. It's about a guy named Ethan who has to focus on his hockey career, and then he comes back 8 years later to his previous girlfriend. So it's a second chance romance. He was a hockey player. I'm very excited to read this. So next up is My Favorite Half Night Stand by Christina Lauren. My ever-growing Christina Lauren list is unreal. I think I have like 5 of the Christina Lauren books now, and I've read none of them. So this one is I think a friends with benefits relationship. So this is about 2 friends who have a night together. They have a one night stand, and they decide they're just gonna be better off being friends. And then the friend creates a online dating personality, and they start a relationship. And he doesn't know that it's the girl he had a relationship with or had a one night stand with. So I'm excited. This one might actually be the one that I start with, and I love the blue and yellow. Yellow is my favorite color, by the way, so yellow gets me every single time. I have yet to put yellow on one of my book covers. It will happen. I just want everyone to know I'm trying really hard not to read the backs of these because I don't like it when people do that, but Some of these I just don't have an option. So next up, I have The Good Daughter by Karin Slaughter, who is supposed to be like the queen of thrillers, and she's supposed to like write the darkest, grittiest, most like amazing things in the entire world. So very excited to read her. This is actually an autographed copy. I'm very excited. There's the signature. 28 years ago in this world, this family gets broken into. The mother's dead, the dad's like devastated, and it like psychologically damages like the two daughters. And it follows 28 years later when havoc is going on again. Again, I can't wait to read Karin Slaughter. I'm very excited. I am very, 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 very excited, and I can't wait to dive in. So next up we have Beautiful Boss by Christina Lauren. I'm slowly collecting this series. I know that there are a lot of them. Like I said, I'm just slowly getting as many as I can from Book Outlet before I start diving into them. These were only like $1 or so every time I get them. They're just the little novellas, and I like reading novellas, so I wanted to just pick this up and get it. This is more of Christina Lauren's steamy office romances, so I'm very excited to dive into this one as well. I'm bound and determined to enjoy Christina Lauren as many books as I bought from them. So next up is a weird one, and I'll explain. So this one is The Next Person You Meet in Heaven by Mitch Albom. I read The 5 People You Meet in Heaven in high school, and I loved it. It was like an emotional roller coaster, and I absolutely just love that book. And when this was announced, me and my friend were very excited. I did not want to pay the full amount for it, and I decided when I saw it on Book Outlet, I was going to grab it. She said, I'm going to cry my eyes out and I'm going to love this. Just for a disclaimer, I'm not a religious person. I don't really talk about it a lot, but I'm not. And yeah, I am still excited to read this. I still really like Mitch Albom. Next up is The House Swap by Rebecca Fleet. This is again another thriller. This one does not have a tagline, but on the back it does say, be careful who you let in. This says, it is a fantastic thriller, dead on domestic, full of tension and surprises. That's by Lee Child. So domestic thriller. Don't like to know a lot about my domestic thrillers because, you know, they're domestic thrillers, and I like to kind of go in blind other than kind of knowing what the idea of it is. So I'm excited to try this out and to get to this. Now I've got another thriller. Are we surprised? I kind of got a bunch of thrillers. I got I Know Who You Are by Alice Feeney. I know Kayla from Books and Lala talked about this like last year or so. She said she didn't like the ending. Follows an actress, and I don't know anything else about it, and I'm excited to see what the hype is about and if I enjoy this or not. It is a very short thriller, so I think I could read this pretty quickly and see if I like it. So next up I have Karin Slaughter's The Woman Kept, a novel, and this says I'd follow her anywhere. That's just the tagline here at the bottom from Gillian Flynn. This is the first book in the Will Trent series, or one of the books in the Will Trent series. Will Trent is an investigative FBI agent, I believe, yeah, it's the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, so the Georgia portion of it, and there's a dead man who is identified as an ex-cop that they have to investigate. I'm very excited. I can't wait to read this. Again, I'm very excited to dive into Karin Slaughter and see if I like her as much as everyone else does. This one I'm very excited about. This is the collector's edition of A Court of Thorns and Roses. I have not taken this out of the packaging. I'm very excited to do that. I'm gonna actually open it up here for you. So if you want to get a copy of it, you can see what it looks like in all its glory. I love this series. A Court of Thorns and Roses is one of my favorite series of all time. I love it with my entire heart and soul, and the fact that I got a copy of this collector's edition for $10 really spoke to my soul. But it's absolutely beautiful. So this is the binding on the outside, like the case for it. It's so cute, and then the back is even prettier, and then this is absolutely just stunning with the gold trim, and then the actual book itself, holy baloney. Am I 3? Yes. So here's what the front looks like. That's like the forest, and then obviously Feyre with her little bow and arrow and shooting into the forest. And then back here is the Fae. Oh my god. And then the end pages, stunning. Oh my god, stunning. So yeah, I love this. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. I'm gonna die. And then there's the edges on this side, if I can get it to adjust right with the light. Am I gonna have to adjust? I don't want to. You can kind of see it, whatever. But these are beautiful. Let me see here. The map, gorgeous. So if you want to get a copy of this, I think there's still copies. Love it. It's absolutely beautiful. And I will keep it in this little case here, and I'm going to display this on my shelf. And I don't know exactly where, but I'm going to display it. So we're almost done now. The next book we have is The Death of Mrs Westaway by Ruth Ware. This is a thriller. I think this is like the second to last thriller she had put out, and I don't know what this is about. Again, I've kind of just stayed kind of clear of Ruth Ware because I haven't known where to start. I've just heard such mixed things about her, but I really do want to read her books. I really do like thrillers, and I really want to give her a shot just to see if I like them. So this one says, all right, I don't have a blurb for this. I'm sorry. I wish that I could give you one, but this video is already getting kind of long, and I don't really know where to look for it on here because there's nothing on here. It's just telling me like the praise for Ruth Ware. So we're just gonna pretend that I told you what it's about. Next up is On the Island by Tracy Garvis Graves. I'm sorry, Tracy Garvis Graves. This is about an English teacher who is stranded on an island with one of her students, and the romantic relationship that happens after they've been stranded on this island together for the last like 5 or so years. So it's a very forbidden, age gap, taboo romance, and I'm very excited to read it because if you don't know me, hi, I like weird, creepy shit. I like the taboo, I like the forbidden, I like the dark, I like to feel pushed out of my comfort zone. So I'm very excited to read this and see what I think about it. So this is Mr. Nice Guy. This is by Jennifer Miller and Jason Pfeiffer. I'm sorry. This follows 2 writers. So it follows a guy who is trying to become a writer. He writes at a magazine, and then it follows a girl who is a sex columnist. And I'm very excited because both of them want to be writers. One wants to be a journalist. She's not, but she wants to be, and I'm very excited to read this and see what I think about it because, as we know, I'm looking for good writer representation, okay? That's all I'm asking for. Next up is a book that I am so excited to read. This is Intercepted by Alexa Martin. This is a football romance, and this girl has been in a relationship with a football player, I think in the NFL, and the back. I'm just gonna read you this. This is so cute. She thought she scored a man of her dreams, only to be scorched by a bad breakup. And then there's a new player on the horizon, but he's in a league of his own. So I think this follows a girl who was in a relationship with an NFL player. He was cheating on her, and she decides, like, you know, they're over, like they break up, and then she finds this other guy and she's interested in him, and I'm so excited to try this out. So then next up, the last thing that I have on this list is actually a YA book, which again, I know, surprising. I don't haul very many of them, but when I do, it's because I'm actually very interested in them. So this is The Cheerleaders by Cara Thomas. This is a YA thriller. This one follows a girl who was related to a cheerleader. There were a bunch of cheerleaders who were murdered, and they disbanded the cheerleading squad, and then this girl starts to unravel the mystery of what really happened. So I'm very excited to read this. I know it's a YA thriller, and I don't read them a ton, but I do really, really like thrillers, and this one was on my list that I really wanted to read, so I'm gonna give this one a shot and see if I like it. I'm very, very excited. I can't wait. I love thrillers. And those are all of the books that I got from Book Outlet. This is a very, very long haul. I'm sorry. I ramble, and I bought a lot of books. I really wanted to talk about them all, and I wanted to kind of just showcase everything I got because I don't do very, very big Book Outlet orders often, but when I do, I like to kind of thoroughly go through them, and I like to kind of show you everything I got. I know I got a lot. I know I got quite a few titles, and I'm very excited to read all of them. If you have any suggestions on which ones I should read first, go ahead and let me know in the comments because I'd love to know. And with that being said, I will see you all in my next video. Bye everyone.
Rosie, sweet Rose.